Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I have not been able to go ice fishing yet because we've had warmer weather and you can't go out on the ice unless there is, well, it has to be minimum 3 to 4 inches to walk on it. If you're going to drive on it, it needs to be 12 to 14 inches thick. And actually it's been so warm over the last few days. I've had my windows open in my apartment with the heat on, but I will tell you an ice fishing story. So let's take a look at this clip about ice fishing and I will tell you my story. Once a long time ago, about 20 or so years ago, I had a friend named Perry. He has passed away now from cancer, but he lived in a tiny town where I bought a house out here in the Dakotas. I told him one day that I wanted to go ice fishing, so he set it up. He put a hut out on the ice and took me out to Lake Garrison. It just so happened that on that day it was 40 below zero with a wind chill factor of I don't know what, 50 or 60 below, I don't know. But in my younger days, I was not worried about the weather. So I didn't care that it was 40 below. We went out ice fishing. Inside the hut, we had a little wood stove, and that kept us warm. We made coffee, we made soup, we brought sandwiches, things like that. And I actually had brought another friend ice fishing with me that day. His name was Mick. He was a family friend. He has also passed away. He passed away of suicide a few years ago. Took his life. He hung himself in his kitchen because he just couldn't handle this world any longer. His bills were stacking up. He wasn't getting the work he needed, and he felt really alone in this world. Plus, he ended up having some type of alcohol and drug addiction problem. So, anyway, he passed away. He was ice fishing with me along with Perry, and we had chipped away a nice size hole in the ice in the center. Actually, I think we had more than one. Yeah, we had 2 or 3 holes in the ice. And the ice was nice and thick. It was probably around 13 inches. And inside the hut, we were very warm. Well, I put my fishing rod, or my fishing line, down the hole, and I ended up catching a 4-pound pike. And it was beautiful. I threw it outside, and it almost froze immediately because it was that cold. And I caught a few more pike. We all did. It was funny because we were tossing the pike in the back of my station wagon. I had a station wagon back then. I bought it used. It was so much fun. It was like from the 60s or 70s or something like that, this station wagon. It had red leather interior. And so we were throwing these pike in the back of this station wagon, and they were all freezing instantly because of the weather, because it was below 40 degrees. And I thought it would be funny to use a fish as a sword, so I grabbed one of the pike and I was like stabbing people with the fish. And so they grabbed a pike and we were using the pike as swords because they were frozen solid, right? We were just playing around, goofing around. Anyway, we ended up getting enough fish and we headed home. And we went back to my place and I put one of the pike on the table and I was going to cook it for dinner. So I had my 2 little daughters, Elizabeth and Virginia, were in the house. And me and Perry and Mick were at the table and we were having coffee and just talking, you know. So I went about my business and I was getting some tin foil out to wrap the fish because I was going to bake it in the oven with some baked potatoes. Then all of a sudden, this fish starts to flip around. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what is going on? I thought it was dead. But apparently, because it froze so quickly, it was just asleep. It was in hibernation, and it was in the back of my station wagon. So I wasn't quite sure if I saw what I thought I saw, which was it starting to flip around, because then it was just still again. So we had 4 pounds of fresh northern pike for dinner with baked potatoes, with butter and sour cream, and coffee, and it was really great. My 2 little daughters probably don't remember it because they were kind of young. I'm trying to think how old they were at the time. I can't remember. But that's one of my fish stories. I gotta tell you another fish story sometime, but I'm gonna save that one for an actual fishing trip. I told you guys I was gonna tell you a fish story, and I did, and that was all true. And so next time I go fishing, whether it's in the spring or the summer or ice fishing, I still hope to go ice fishing, I will tell you another one of my fish stories. Just continuing my walk. It's pretty nice out here. I have a lot of stories to tell you guys, actually. About a month or 2 ago, I actually saw this design in the sky, and it looked like not the tree of life, the flower of life. I don't know much about the flower of life, but I was searching it after I saw it. It was pretty cool. I'll have to tell you that story sometime, because I know there's a lot of people from India and Pakistan that know about that story. And actually, I'd like to know more about the flower of life myself, since I saw it. It was really cool. It looked like see-through clouds in the beautiful blue sky. And it was almost like it was in like the shape of a dome, because as I looked out farther at the edge of the horizon, the design looked small, but above me it was really big. And it was really interesting because it seemed like the birds, when they were flying by, slowed down, because I could see their every move. I could see them really clearly. It was almost like they were in slow motion.